Barbara Fredrickson. Love is not a magic bullet. You can no more expect to become healthier through a single, isolated micro moment of positivity resonance than you can by eating just one piece of broccoli per year. Yet, just as a steady diet of a wide range of fresh fruits and vegetables does indeed make you healthier, so does a steady diet of a wide range of loving moments. Barbara Fredrickson.
Hey everybody, it's Jessica and Darren Salquist with Next Level.
Good vibes only.
Yes, let's break down that quote.
Chicka chicka. I don't know. Can we add that in one of these days? Just a little chicka chicka chicka.
I'll cue it up for next episode.
Okay, thanks. So what do you think about that quote? What does that mean?
Love is not a magic bullet. I mean, it takes work, right? It's got to be a steady diet. It's just like what it talks about. I love the example of just like eating one piece of broccoli per year. Mm-hmm. That's not how you become healthier, right? Yeah. You got to bring it in. It's got to be consistency. Yeah. It's got to be intentional.
And that's with everything. But today we are talking about love. And Barbara Fredrickson has inspired our talk today about positivity resonance with her Love 2.0. And she talks about those micro moments of that positivity resonance, which is that love that we want to create, these micro moments. And like you said, it's not just one moment. It's creating that moment for our community and each other over and over and over again.
Yeah. And again, I mean, just where we are in society right now, it's January 2026. A lot of stuff going on in this in our world. And yeah. I think let love rule, right?
Yeah. I think it's a perfect time.
Lenny Kravitz, Let Love Rule. Can we get there?
Let's do it. One Love, baby. With a little bit of, we just watched that documentary,
yeah,
One Love
with Bob Marley.
With Bob Marley.
Another
so I'm sporting my Love shirt today if you are watching us on YouTube.
Yeah, Love,
and
Justice.
Love, Justice. And we got my hat that says Speak. But I think it's a perfect time to remind everyone what our heroic program, Brian Johnson and everyone, what the goal is that by 2051, that 51% of the population is flourishing. Yeah. And Darren and I have also made that commitment to be a part of that for our local community and for Spokane. And we have a lot of great, amazing coaches and leaders that are part of our life that we get to help with that goal. And when I think of people flourishing, I think of us sharing these micro moments of love through smiles, through laughter, through letting a car in when you're driving down the road and you see it's rush hour and somebody's waiting to get in. Yeah. Help somebody smile, help them feel good. It doesn't take a lot. These aren't big, audacious, huge things that we need to do. Yes, that's nice too. But let's slow down and rediscover what it really, truly means to connect.
Yeah. I mean, I've learned, or not learned, but I practice, like, when you get into Starbucks and there's cars lining up, they're trying to cut in, like, they're coming from different directions and that person's speeding up to try to get in front of you. Yeah. I just take a step back, like, let them go ahead. What's going to take another couple of minutes? Yeah. And the goal is if I'm going to go to Starbucks, I'm not running behind, so I have time. Same thing, waiting in line at the grocery store. The other day I was waiting in line. I had one item that I was going to purchase. And the gentleman in front of me kind of looked at my one eye and was like, you want to go ahead of me? I was like, no, man, I'm okay. I appreciate it, but I'm not in any rush, man. I'm good. Thank you. Yeah. And then I thanked him afterwards. Yeah. And I just said, hey, thanks for your kindness and offering up, and I appreciate it.
What I think of when I was reading through this again today, I was thinking of, we'll get a chance to share more of a personal story in a little bit, but I think of Darren, how when he first started saying to people when we would leave somewhere, or his thank you was, may your day be filled with smiles. And it always made me chuckle because he says it to men, to women, to anyone. And honestly, it makes the person smile, but they're also like, huh. Like, okay, like it was different. It wasn't just have a good day. Yeah. It wasn't like anything, but may your day be filled with smiles. Darren does it to people on the phone, when customer service. And there are the moments where you can hear the tone where someone lightens up, or they have a big smile, or they chuckle and they realize, oh, that was a meaningful micro moment of positivity. I think that's great. I think it's great to create a little uncomfortableness to help somebody else smile. in our life. I think that can change the world.
Yeah, and it's even just in that pause, that moment was like, oh, that's different. You know, when we get in the habit of saying, oh, have a good day, or hey, how's it going? And we really don't care. Like, right. When people, it's just common that we say these things and they're, oh, how you doing today? Oh, I'm doing fine. And we just go on about our business where, you know, maybe somebody does want to connect, but just that, whatever that reason is, just bringing that in is something different. Again, just like with happy birthdays, I just really talk about how, you know, happy next level birthday, just something different that can create that pause and, you know, hopefully maybe just create just that positivity resonance in that person for that moment, right? Yeah. And this is where we're talking about what Jessica said already, Robert Fredrickson. The book is called Love 2.0. You can get it on Amazon. And if this podcast and this conversation resonates with you, check out the book, Love 2.0.
So we built this podcast off of a series of workshops we were doing at our local library, which we're doing our last one here on the 31st of January. Very excited about that. This will probably come out after that, but we wanted to share this concept, especially as we noted this time and space in our lives. And it's about the power of connection and a practice for flourishing. We want to create a environment for you as closely as possible to help you have those opportunities of love, those micro connections, and how can you go out tomorrow, today, this moment, at home, wherever you're at, how can you help create these micro moments of love that you pass down. So one of the things that we started with for the big why of questions to really ask yourself and reflecting. And if you have the opportunity, if you're not driving, to jot down some of these things. But basically, the first question we want to ask you is, how connected do you feel to yourself, others, and life right now? And if you rated that to a 1 to a 10, and 10
no
being...
sevens.
No sevens for Darren, but the 10 being most connected, 1 being the least connected, how connected do you feel to yourself, others, and life right now? How about you, Darren? 1 through 10, 10 being the highest.
For me, I'm going to say a 9. And what would make it a 10 for me is making more connection at our local grocery store at Yolks, right there, right on the north side, where we see the same individuals working at the checkout stand, and I have yet to just get their names. You know, I see him all the time. There's one gentleman that we always talk about food when we're getting food, right?
Yeah.
But yet I don't even know the guy's name.
Yeah,
and that's an opportunity that I'm missing. To be able to make a connection, and just we see each other all the time, and why wouldn't we not know each other by our first name? And I don't need to rely on him to do it. It ought to be me doing it, you know. And then examples, the grocery store is an easy place to do it because you're waiting in line. Yeah, you got a person in front of you, you got a person behind you. You can make a connection anywhere you want. Another time that I was there, I was in line at just waiting to get my food checked, and a gentleman came up in one of those rolling carts. The mechanical ones, whatever, and it was a gentleman wearing he was a veteran, and instead of him getting out of his chair, I said, hey, do you want me to load the conveyor belt for you with your food?
Oh, that's nice.
And he's like, oh, that would be really nice. That's really kind of you. And so I just kind of did that. And again, that's just that micro moment of connection, being able to just lend a helping hand.
He's like, you made his moment.
Yeah.
So what factors influence that sense of connection most strongly today? And you kind of mentioned that, but based on your rating of a 9, what factors influence that sense of connection? And I heard you say, is you making the attempt to make more connection? Because I know how I feel. If I'm making an attempt to make more connection, I'm benefiting from it.
Yeah.
So it's not
Both.
It's selfish and selfless because you're being kind to another. And you're also, it's like bouncing back from them back onto you. Mm-hmm. By being kind, it makes me happy.
Yeah.
So the last question, just as we're warming up, prepping for this, is what's one intention you'd like to set for deepening connection during today or tomorrow? Like, what's one thing? You shared that already, but think as an audience, what's one intention you'd like to set for deepening connection? And focus on today. Whenever time you're reading this, maybe if it's even right before you go to bed, right when you're waking up in the morning, driving down the road, have that next moment that you're interacting with someone set for some kind of deepening connection. Just challenge yourself, get a little uncomfortable.
What about you? What's yours?
Oh, what am I going to do today?
Well, today or Yeah, if there's anything you can do today,
today I'm going to go home with you and straight home from here. So deepening my connection is maybe just share some gratitude with you tonight before we rest our heads on our pillow.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll look forward to that.
All right. That's awesome. So as far as moving into kind of the stories and those kind of things like that, do you have any specific connections that you want to share?
That's a good one. I wasn't prepared.
I have one.
Go ahead. Share if you have one.
I have one. And when I realized the story that I was thinking of, it was a lot of micro moments, one after another. And so I remember about 2 months ago driving to work in the morning, and I remember looking to my right. I happened to be in the right-hand lane, and I looked over and saw a woman in a car standing outside of it, and it looked as if she had run out of gas. And I got super excited because I thought, "Ooh, this is a moment. This is a moment where I get to share love and kindness, right, and make a connection." And so I pulled over and I jumped out of the car and I was
Put your cape on.
"Can I help you?" I felt that's what I felt like. I mean, I think it would be amazing if every time we saw that somebody needed help or encouragement that we got that excited. But I was like searching for it, and the universe gave it to me in that moment. So she's in the middle of the road, the side road. And so I said, "How can I help you?" And she said, "I ran out of gas." And I noticed that she was a woman who was living in her car. So, and she had a dog in the back. And that just made me even feel more the love of how can I help this person smile today? And so one moment after the other, I had asked her, "Can I help you move your car?" So I helped push her car out of the middle of the road. And then I said, "Okay." And then I actually, at that moment, I said, "Is there anything else I can do for you?" She said no. And I drove off and I went through the light and I realized, wow, you didn't fulfill all of those micro moments, those moment to moment to moment types of love that you could have done and really helped her. There was literally a gas station kitty corner from where we were standing. So I turned around and I went back and I said, I just realized that you need gas and I'm happy to go get that for you. She said, "Thank you so much, because I can't leave my dog in the car by itself." She was really worried. You could tell she was really stressed out to do so. So then, I felt, okay, great. So I went and got gas. I came back. I handed her the gas. She tried to give me money. And I said, "Nope, that's good. Perfect." I mean, it was $3. And then I said, "Okay, anything else? Can I help you with anything else?"
$3, you got her a gallon of gas?
No, it was a little can. It was a little can.
Yeah, $3 is about a gallon.
Well, I filled up the can, so maybe it was a little more. But anyways, got her gas, and she was able to go about her day. But I was just thinking that may seem like a big action, but it was really these moments of connection. After the connection, she didn't ask for any more, and I gave her the opportunity to say, "Okay, yes, I can use help for that too."
Yeah.
Otherwise, I in that moment, you're just trying to do good and make somebody smile. And I'm hoping that I brightened up her day.
Yeah. I mean, I shared one with the shopping cart and at the grocery store, but the other one just on Sunday, right? When we went for a run and we came back and Austin was there. Austin's a police officer, and everything that's going on right now, I just felt compelled to give him a hug and say, "Hey man, I appreciate what you do for all of us civilians here and keeping us safe. Being a police officer is a very challenging job. And with everything that's going on, sometimes people have different views on things, but yet that's a tough job to do. And we might not always be happy when they show up when we're speeding or anything like that. We get a ticket.
Yep.
But if we actually really need them, then that they're there, right? That's what we're gonna want. So it's that appreciation. Brendan, how about yourself? You got any micro moments of appreciation or anything that's ever happened in the last month or this month of January?
I think about like this a lot, like as just trying to be nicer. It's funny that you mentioned talking to the people that you shop with at Yokes and knowing their names. And I go into this convenience store in Millwood all the time, and there's a really nice lady who works in there. Her name's Mel. and I really thought I need to introduce myself to her because I buy an energy drink from her multiple times a week, and I was like, and I should know this person. Like they should know. And like we say hi to each other every morning, and she's so friendly. And I was like, that is something that like I wish more people did.
Yeah,
because it's such a connection to have with someone that you see like on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
And how easy is it, right? It's just like, hey, what's your name? Heck, and just now you make that connection, because what would happen? Imagine if that person wasn't there any longer. You'd be like, oh my God, she's not there anymore. God, I could have made a connection. And there's gonna be a part of us that's missed. I remember there was a homeless person on the corner over by Dutch Brothers, and he was there always when I drove by, right? And then everybody would give him food, and he was kind of a staple on that corner. And then he ended up passing away, and he was actually in the newspaper because other people stopped and actually communicated with him and talked to him.
Yeah.
He was a very kind individual, although, being homeless, but people are very easy, quick to judge.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, man, being a homeowner is hard, and so is being homeless.
Yeah.
And so it's just, the goal is not to pass judgment, just to see everybody as a human. And that's one thing I ask from my gym members of the community at CoreFit on Thursdays. It's always Next Level Thursday. I always ask them just at the end of the workout to make one person smile today, even if it's that homeless person on the corner, just a wave, and let them know that you see them.
Yeah. And Brendan, I definitely know who you're talking about at that Millwood convenience store. She is so nice. I walk in and she's just like absolutely so excited to see somebody and so kind. Always helpful, asking if you need anything. So I'm pretty sure I know exactly who you're talking about.
Her name's Mel.
Mel. Okay, I'm going to go in.
And don't tell Darren, but they have the best donuts.
Nope. Darren does not do donuts anymore.
Good thing it's not on my way to work.
Yeah. One thing I will
Mel.
say, Mel, I heard you had good donuts. One thing I will say about this activity that we're just doing right now is that it is very important to share your personal story with someone else. So we would love for you to make that connection and share something with someone that you would like to share, family, friends, somebody that you talk to, and ask them to share a story with you. And just use that as an additional connection moment and listen from the heart. Truly listen to what they're saying and watch how they may light up a little bit when they're telling the story. Have some eye contact if you so choose, but share that story with each other. Ask each other to share and see how you're feeling when you're actually hearing somebody tell a story about positivity and love, and then when you get to share it. Because when I share that story, I feel that love again really intensely in my heart, and it gets me very excited. So that is another beautiful way to do more connection and love, is to share what you have done and let somebody share that with you.
Yeah, and this kind of really translates into our vagus nerve, which turns into our vagal tone. And we'll talk about that here in a moment. But just going into that connection, right? And the way to get that to be stronger is can you do that daily? Can you make one connection daily, just to somebody? Can you make it that simple goal, like what you just talked about, of saying hi or whatever that may be?
Hey, that color looks really nice on you.
Yeah, right? Something very simple and easy to do to whether it's a loved one or even go out and be stretched into a stranger and make that connection. Yeah.
So the next kind of activity that I think we've done this before is a loving kindness meditation. If you're listening to these podcasts and you have seen now that we are recording individual meditations, you know how important to us breathing and connecting in that way of being present and doing a meditation. I will record something at a separate time, but I will give you some cueing of what a loving kind meditation is. And it's really about just being able to connect with yourself. So a loving kindness meditation is a moment where you can repeat affirmations to yourself, and that you silently send goodwill to yourself, to someone you love, someone neutral that maybe is acquaintance that nor here nor there. You don't know them, but you kind of know them, that you saw them, maybe Mel at the convenience store. And then someone who is very challenging to you. And the way that I do a loving kindness meditation is one way. There's lots of ways. You could Google it, go to YouTube. You can listen to our recording when I record the next one. But what you can say is when you're sending goodwill to yourself, you can say, may I feel safe. May I feel happy. May I be healthy. And may I be at peace. And then you would say the same thing to someone you love. May you feel safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. And may you be at peace. And then you would say that to Mel at the convenience store, the same thing. And then you would say to someone who that may be challenging to you or challenge you that day or that you have a difficult relationship with or someone that you don't agree with at all. There is an ability to still send love. May they be safe. May they be happy. Maybe they healthy, and may they be at peace. Because even though that seems maybe challenging, it is a good thing for those that you do not believe that are creating those micro moments of positivity. They still need to we still need to send them some of that resonance, that love itself.
Yeah.
The community, the world. The world does. And that's, again, how we change the world.
Yeah. I had a moment today where I let a situation get the better of me and I got upset and I realized I was coming from this past version of me. And that's when I created the pause. Like I was enough in the moment to recognize I was elevating and I paused, took a breath. And recognize that I wasn't coming from my heart anymore. Mm-hmm. I wasn't coming from a place of love. I was coming from a place of anger and a couple other different places. And I had to pause for a moment. And I said, let's just reset. Let's just take a moment. Like if we were to go outside of this door and can walk right back in, let's start over, right? Because that's in the past now. There's no reason why we can't start right now from this place. And that's one thing that I've learned from my coach that was on our podcast last with Lori Mage. Of one of the things that she shared with me is when you get angry or you're coming from anger, that you've closed off your heart.
Yeah.
You're not coming from a place of love any longer, right? You're coming from this place of judgment and anger. And so I was able to just, again, create the pause for a moment. Again, it's not about being perfect. We're all going to slip. That's what it's all about. You're going to slip. With that being said, can you regain your traction? Just like with anything, right? If you're on ice, you're slipping on ice, what do you want to do? You want to regain traction.
Yeah.
And so we're all going to slip. This is going to happen. And that's and then recognize and then get to celebrate that moment later. What could I have done differently? Why did I let myself go that far? What was happening? And for me to be able to make sure that next time I slip, I gain traction faster. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So going in that part, we just talked about that. And going into the next section, what you got?
Opportunities to love.
Opportunities to love.
Yeah. So what do you want to share about opportunities to love?
I think there's many opportunities to love, right? It's and this is where the community comes in, right? Love 2.0, and this is really what the book's all about. Is love is not this definition of just what's between you and your spouse or you and your family, or connection. Maybe what would be another example? Love for yourself to some degree, but love 2.0 is that expansive love. Those things that are around you, the role that you're playing in the world right now, the individuals that come into your life, your circle, community, like at Corfit. That's where that love 2.0 is what this book is all about.
Yeah. It's like greeting someone, holding the door for someone. I know that when Darren and I are at the grocery store, if somebody's unloading their cart and we happen to be walking by, we're like, may we take this for you? And usually people are like, absolutely, that's amazing.
Shopping cart, yeah.
Plus, I don't want carts sitting up on the side of the sidewalk either. Yeah. So it's a win-win right there. So having opportunities to love. Darren talked about thinking about starting with one opportunity for love daily, and that can be your floor. Your ceiling can be 3. So thinking about, you can even text somebody an appreciation. I know when we did one of our connection activities in one of the heroic conferences we went to, they spent time, walking us through micro moments of love. And they said, okay, at this moment, send somebody a message. Send somebody a message of gratitude or appreciation, or write down, for 3 people. And I remember doing that, or record. We also recorded a message for someone. And I remember recording that message, and it was for a friend that had been taking care of my dad at the VA hospital during COVID, Becky, and she was giving my dad so much love and staring out the window with us and having my dad wave. He was having some hard times, and I remember recording a message for her and sending it to her, and I couldn't stop crying, because it was such a loving moment and appreciation. So that's another way that you can really appreciate someone, is send them a video or a verbal message, or text them how much you are grateful for them and how much you appreciated something that they did.
Yeah, let them know that you see love in them. I did that a week or two ago to my cousin Jay. I was just happened to be messing around on Facebook or something, and he's always, when he posts things, it's like I always see, like, man, he's just generous, he's kind, very calm and very happy, always sharing things. And I start thinking, I was like, man, my cousin, what do I see in him? And what I see is love. And I shared that with him. I sent him a message, hey, man, I just want you to know that I love you. And there's some stuff going on with that side of the family. But I was like, what's going on and what has happened in the past is that's not between us. That's for other individuals that want to create whatever thoughts that are in their mind. That's okay. That's them. It's not for me to worry about. But I don't want that to be interfering with our relationship. And so I just said, hey, man, I just want you to know I see you. I love you. And I see love in you, that you are an example of love. And he just texted me back saying, thanks. That means a lot. And that's what's kind of cool. It's just out of the blue. And that's what you guys can do now. Same thing, just out of the blue. Somebody that really is important to you, to think if they weren't there, that we don't want to wish. God, I wish I would have said this. I wish I would have done this. That's the worst. That's regret. And it's this very easy, just with this technology that we have with our phones, to send a message saying, hey, just thinking about you.
Yeah.
Hope you're doing well. And it's just like the letters that we used to receive in the mail.
Yeah.
Right. That's what text messaging is right now. It's not quite as exciting, but it's nice to receive unexpectedly. So maybe that's something that, if you're listening to this right now, when you get a moment and you're not driving, that you can send somebody just a little word of love.
Yeah. I was thinking about, when we do have a negative thought that comes into our mind, wouldn't it be really neat if we replaced it with a loving thought and created a deeper connection? So if I felt something very negative, then I would flip that by then responding positively by sending a positive message or thanking someone, or even thanking ourselves. There's part of that, being able to look in the mirror and say, I love you. Look in the mirror and say, thank you. Thank you for showing up every day. That'd be cool if that was the habit.
Yeah.
We could just flip that switch.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this, right? It's really about, to know love, it's to love yourself. It's, to love other things and those things that are outside of you. You can give love, but what true love is loving yourself, loving the person that you are, giving yourself I don't want to say it's, I'm stuck on this word permission that I've been using a lot lately, but it's that you're not perfect. You're not going to be perfect, man. Don't beat yourself up.
Permission to not
Don't
be perfect.
beat yourself up, because maybe you're not where you want to be right now, but you know what? You're further along than you are. And my brother made this post the other day about running mountains, running hills, about we always look to the top. We look for the work. And that's something I recognize. That's what I do when I'm running up these hills. I'm thinking about how much work it is. Where's the top, so I can stop working? And the goal is to get to the top versus appreciating where I am in that moment on the hill that I'm running. And that's what I did this weekend. I just looked around as I was running up these hills and looking at the trees and looking at the different view, and this perspective that I had is with each step, it gave me a different perspective of view and where I was in that moment.
Yeah.
But going into that too is looking at when we lose love or we're not feeling that connection. This is where the self-absorption can come in, right? And this cocoon of self-absorption that we get into, where we feel disconnected to the world. And we have all these distractions that are in front of us with the phones, and we can see it with those that are younger than us, the kids. You can see when you go out to dinner or you're out in a public place, how many people are on their phones. And that's just that disconnection. And this is that where our focus is not on anybody else, it's only on us. And so how can we flip that script and get to the point to where we can put our phones down? And we have this at home sometimes, right? Where sometimes we're on our phones and we're in the same household together. How can we put those phones down and not be distracted by outside sources?
Yeah.
Like we were, 20 years ago when we didn't have phones.
Yeah. What were we doing?
Yeah. What were we doing? Right? There's a lot more connection.
We were connecting.
There was a lot more connection back then.
We played games, but we played more games. We sat around, told stories. So anything else you want to share? I have one last thing kind of as we wrap up to share, but did you want to talk about the vagus nerve a little bit?
Yeah, this is the one thing I just want to talk on the vagus nerve is, again, that's that 10th cranial nerve, and it's the main nerve for our parasympathetic system. And this is really connects our brain to the rest of our system, to our heart, to our lungs, to our digestive system. And if that's off kilter, that's when we're going to be in high stress. And that's where we want to connect with that vagus nerve and have this vagal tone to help decrease our stress in the body and make that connection so we can work on decreasing our stress and our anxiety by breathing and meditation.
Yeah.
Which then, if we are at more calm and at ease, by taking that deep breath, like what Jessica just did, just a nice deep breath in through your nose, breathing in for maybe a 4 to a 5 count, holding at the top for 2, and exhaling a little bit longer, is going to reset that tone. It's going to help that heart rate come down. It's going to slow your breathing pattern. It's going to help you feel more relaxed. And going into that, that's going to give us a little bit more resilience to stress. It's going to help with our emotional regulation. And then another way we can do that is by social engagement.
Yeah.
That vagus nerve and that vagal tone is that connection that you're making when you're around individuals that have similar interests. When you're out running, or you're at the gym and you're working out together, or you're in a community of crafting, right? The painting, wine and paint or whatever, when you're with your friends, sip and paint or whatever, right? Of doing those simple things like that, where you're having that connection.
Yeah.
Coffee, sitting down and meeting a friend or a loved one for coffee and having that moment. A book club where you're making a connection. This is what Love 2.0 is finding that community, helping yourself, going in a direction that you want to go, and building the connection, which then in turn is going to help you to find a better place of making connection with yourself. Yeah.
And the vagus nerve, you can go on there and Google or YouTube how to reset your vagus nerve. There's lots of amazing things. But the vagus nerve actually connects your heart to your brain. And that to me gives me a really great visual of like, I want my brain and my heart to connect. I want it to be talking to each other. I don't want to just be brain, and I do want to lead with my heart, but I also like the balance of the two. So I think that's pretty cool to think about. If you notice, you just visualize this nerve connecting to two really important things.
Yeah, that's like I said. It's going to help your response when you get upset and you get angry. Your heart is not connected to your brain any longer, right? That heart is closed off, and now you're just coming from this place of anger. If we can keep that connection open, right? If we can keep that connection open. And this is something Jessica and I shared before in the past, to where if I get upset, we have a disagreement, there's only a small part of me that's upset with Jessica in that moment, but there's a bigger part of me that loves her. And as long as I keep that my main focus, that is going to keep our conversation more open. Yeah. And it's going to help us get to where we need to get, of just far as meeting in the middle. It's not about one person being right and the other person being wrong. It's about finding that connection, because we both are seeing things through our own eyes. And that's what's important, is that we respect each other's thoughts, and it's not about being right.
And connect. I remember this last week, I said to Darren, hey, how about? What did I say to you about?
I don't, keep going.
You don't remember?
I don't remember a lot of things.
I said, how about if when we're speaking to each other,
we look in our eyes?
Yes, we have more eye contact than not, because I notice how easy it is to just look everywhere. Yeah. And then, you're like, everybody's having a conversation and then nobody's looking at each other. So we did, and it was magical. I feel at the same time is I can't wait for more of that. I think I expressed that to you. It's like, oh my gosh, like let's not forget to look into each other's eyes when
it's
we're
uncomfortable,
speaking.
right? I mean, it shouldn't be uncomfortable with your partner.
Melt into my heart.
Right? It ought to be easy with your partner.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
we were at a conference again at Heroic, and that was one of the practices, right? Where you went around and you stared at people's eyes, and a lot of it we got to stare in, like myself, in other men's eyes, and
just
looking at a man,
had no clue who they all were.
Yeah, but looking at another man and being like, you're maybe one or two hands apart from each other, and you're just gazing in this other person's eyes for, I don't know, was it a minute?
You got to get through the uncomfortableness.
Yeah.
Well, when we did the breath work, I had to gaze into your brother's eyes.
Oh, yeah.
And that was super
at the breath
uncomfortable.
workshop. Yeah.
And then you know what was beautiful about it is we both were uncomfortable, and then softness came in.
Yeah.
And then I could see him speaking to me with his eyes and vice versa. And he was sending me love, and I was sending him love. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
So practice that. We gave you a lot of things to practice, a lot of tools, a lot of opportunities to connect. We hope that you pick the 1 to 3 on a daily basis. The one thing that I would love for you to also do is writing down your personal statement. And the beginning of that statement is, I will help create that world by. So we're talking about, again, the world flourishing. 51% of the population is going to flourish by 2051. We want humanity to flourish through deeper connection. So if you think of that world, right? Imagine that world. And your statement is, I will help create that world by. And write down the actions that you're going to do. Start super, super small and decide what you're going to do on a daily basis, how you're going to interact with people, how you're going to celebrate people's successes, how you're going to hold the door for people, how you're going to give compliments to people. Make that intention and awareness of how you're going to contribute to creating this amazing world that's going to flourish.
Yeah. And it's like planting a tree, right? If you planted the tree today, maybe you might not be able to enjoy that shade from that tree, but somebody else is going to be. And that's something that you created.
Yeah.
By planting that tree and allowing somebody else to appreciate the shade that they're sitting under. So it doesn't matter what level of age you are in life, whether you're going to be around by 2051, because we'll be in our 80s when that happens. But my goal is to be around to know that I was a part of that. And the way we're doing that is by the workshops that we're doing, this podcast right here, and the connections that we're making at CoreFit and with what we do, with the people that we come in contact with. So if that's something you want to take on, just start making connections with people. Help people flourish.
That's right.
All right, you guys. Thank you for being here with us, and take your life to the next level with
Good vibes only.
peace. Congratulations, and I want to say thank you for sticking with us and listening to this topic. But I want to leave you for some actionable steps that you can take immediately after listening to this podcast, or once you get into your home if you are driving. I want you to think about writing down your answers to these focused questions. What is that one thing that you can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? And then I'd like for you to schedule a time for that primary task that you just wrote down. So those are your actionable steps. Thank you.